Hi, my name is Beth and I'm here on behalf of Aula Inglés talking to you today about social customs and habits in UK families to prepare you for when you go and work as an au pair in these families in the United Kingdom. And I hope I can help you a little bit with top tips on what to do. So, of course, between different countries, there are such different social norms and social customs. And sometimes when we visit a country for the first time, it can be slightly shocking because people are doing things very differently to the way that you're used to. And this can be especially significant when you're in a family like you will be as an au pair. So I hope I can help you prepare for this. I actually worked as an au pair last summer, and it was in Spain, and I certainly noticed cultural differences and I had to really get used to them, but you do, and it's a fantastic way of immersing yourself in the culture of the country that you're in. So in the UK, you should bear in mind that regions differ a lot. So in the north, some families might be a certain way and other families might behave and interact in different ways. For example, in England, I would say that in the north people are slightly louder and more animated than in the south, but yes, you have to bear in mind that there will be different social customs. I think it's also very important to go into your au pairing open-minded and ready to adapt to the social customs of the family and to the routine of the family as well, so that you can be respectful and really immerse yourself, like I said. So one top tip to prepare yourself is that in England and in the UK in general, people notice that we have very strong manners. And in general, people are very, very polite. They say thank you, sorry, excuse me, please constantly. And when you arrive, it might seem slightly over the top, but it's very normal. And it's a good idea if when you're speaking English, maybe you can also adapt the way you're speaking to the way your family is speaking, because it's very polite and very normal there. Also, there is a slight stereotype that people in the UK are maybe more reserved than others, and this could be true in comparison to Spain. Sometimes people are less animated and less warm, and that doesn't mean that they're not friendly or kind or nice people. It's just the way that people are, and they express themselves in different ways to how we're used to here in Spain. I would also say that something we do in England that I would recommend you do is when we visit a house for the first time, when we visit a family for the first time, it's very polite to bring a gift with you. If you can bring some flowers, some chocolates, that's often very polite and friendly, and it could be a really good idea for your au pair family, and it would make a very good impression, and maybe for the children as well. It's very normal to do that in the UK. Also, prepare yourself, because in the UK we do have quite strong accents, and so especially in northern regions, you might find initially, okay, these accents are really strong, I'm finding it hard to understand. But don't worry, after a bit of time you'll become accustomed and you get very used to it. But sometimes we do have strong accents in different regions in the UK. I think the most important cultural difference between Spain and England is the routine. So I thought it might be helpful for you if I take you through a normal generic school day routine for children in the UK. So often the day starts at about 7:30 and you have breakfast at about 8 o'clock, and breakfast often consists of toast, of cereal and fruit, and of course tea, because we drink so much tea in England. And then school and work starts at around 9 o'clock in the morning, and lunch normally takes place at midday between 12 and 1. And lunch isn't a big thing in the UK, so we don't sit down and have a big meal, normally just a sandwich and a soup, and there's no siestas, sadly. But the day then finishes normally around 4 or 5 o'clock, when people will come home from work and school, and then you have dinner normally at around 7 o'clock. But young children eat very early in the UK. Often they can eat at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, and that's obviously very different to the way that you do things here in Spain. And then at night time, mostly children go to bed between 7 and 8 o'clock, so again very early, and adults it's normally much later than that. Normally in England, in the weekdays, people don't eat together as a big family, but on the weekends we really like to do that. And on a Sunday we have a traditional meal that we eat, which is called a Sunday roast, and I'm sure you'll really enjoy it. It consists normally of a roasted meat, and then we have vegetables and potatoes also, and we have a pastry called a Yorkshire pudding. And that is very normal for a family to eat on a Sunday, and you come together and talk about your week, and it's very lovely. Another important top tip for when you go to the UK to be an au pair is punctuality, because in Britain we are very punctual, and it isn't just a stereotype. We do really try to be on time for as much as we can, and that isn't just for formal things. It isn't just for flights or meetings, it's also for social occasions. So for a party or a dinner, you also should always try and be on time. And I think to make a good impression with your au pair family, it would be a really good idea if you can try and be on time as much as you can. Also, of course, in the UK, we drink a lot of tea, so maybe a good idea would be to practice making some nice tea